So what's up, everybody? This is going to be another industry video, but I'm also going to address Zakk Roberts and Tom Teabag, who goes under Gibson. I do think it's him, because you talk too much alike, bro. Did you go to Zakk's page? You've been exposed, and then you want to play it off like it's funny because I made you feel stupid. No, you're not getting away with it. You're just as dumb as he is. But, so, what's the other part of the industry? So let me tell you guys a story. I played with the singer. He had a lot of issues mentally. And he was a great singer. And I'll say his first name, but not his last. You know, his name is Kenny. And, incredible singer. Just, messed up. You know, when you have a tattoo of Jesus on a toilet taking a dump, there's something wrong with you. Something very, very wrong with you. Now, whether you believe in Christ or not, that's your personal opinion. But to mock it, not a good idea, because let's say it does really exist. You think that was a good idea? I don't. That's my personal opinion. And I love tattoos. Oh, I gotta get Marcel in here. I keep saying that. But one of the other industry problems, and this will go. So he had an idea who I was, but I really didn't say. And he kept asking, and I wouldn't tell him because, again, it's not his business. So let me explain the NDA, non-disclosure. As much as they get sent to me and signed, that signature also protects me. You're like, how? From crazy people like him who are going to call Atlantic Records while I'm in the hospital getting a gallbladder removed. He calls them up asking about expose or this or that. And while I'm in there, I get a message. Who is Ken so-and-so? And then it was followed with, is he dangerous? See, what a lot of people don't understand is they try to get information or blah, blah, blah. And again, sorry, Zakk, I was born in 67. I'm 60. By the time Tom made his mark in Nashville, probably late to mid 90s, hair metal was done. There was no data, no internet when I was coming up. I'd already, by the time Tom got into Nashville, I retired at 97 at 27 years old and did 3 world tours. You were probably just a baby. Hate to say it. But so there's not an influx of, that's why you have data processors. They take the old files, they scan them, and they input them into a database. Again, his thing, we'll get into that in a minute. But let me explain. So you get a lot of crazy stuff like that, and then it goes into that. So this is how the music industry works. Because I write for celebrities and do specific things for high profile, Tom doesn't, or a Zakk doesn't have privy or access to that information. My financial records and this and that. The only way it's allowed is if I put it on the internet, because I choose to, which means Jitboy1, Chris Coloyan. At this point in my life, I'm 60. The only thing I protect is my son. And this is what this industry part of it has to deal with. So, but Zakk doesn't understand. And Tom doesn't understand. Because his ego, or the disruption in the thinking patterns, is irrational. There's multi-billionaires and millionaires that run these corporations. Now, we just watched somebody got, I forget the kid's name, maybe 6 months ago. The guy with the insurance company walked up behind him and boom, boom, gone. That's why this information is not limited. Like HIPAA, you're not allowed to discuss medical information unless you're authorized to. So, you know, like allegedly, if Tom has erectile dysfunction or Zakk has erectile dysfunction, allegedly, I'm not allowed to talk about his actual chart that suggests it improves it. Again, that's a fucking joke. If you don't know what the fuck a joke is, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so the NDA protects me that way. Number one, the database. There was no database back when I was a kid. All that stuff growing up, that came later in life. So, and we'll get into that. Just remember what I just said, because that's how that kind of works in the industry at a higher level. They want to protect their artists and anyone else associated with them. So keep that in mind. Now, going into the industry is another part of it. I was discussing something with my good friend Tommy. Yeah, Tom. And he, I had a great question for him. I actually recorded it, but let's go into the other one first. Just so you can hear part of the conversation.
He used to work for School of Rock.
So he used to work for School of Rock. And this is what I asked him.
Hey, my brother, what's going on? Hey, what's up, man? I was just doing a video on... That's all I'm recording, just so you know, so don't say nothing bad. I got a question for you. Okay. I know you work for School of Rock, right? Do they actually do an FBI background and get a fingerprint from you? They do a background, yeah. But do they do background check? I don't remember if I got fingerprints. Is it through the FBI?
So here's my other suggestion to parents. You know, like, so School of Rock, now I don't know their policy, I don't know how they fingerprint, I don't know if it's through the FBI. But let's say a guy like me is 60 and there's something wrong with me. Let's pretend, allegedly. I got the hair, I come in dressed up, the tight jeans, and you know, and I have good looking girls that are 13, 15 years old that I'm teaching guitar to. This is why it's crucial to listen to this and understand. Some people are sex addicts. I grew up in an industry where that was very, very all over the place. If there was something wrong with me and I was like a sexual predator, but I was also a guitar instructor, it's very crucial that you make sure, I don't care if it's School of Rock, Guitar Center, Mom and Pop's Joe Music, make sure not just a background check, an FBI background check with a fingerprint, or it's through the police station who runs this. I don't even trust police stations. FBI, not that I trust them much more, but I get an FBI fingerprint. Make sure that your instructor is highly qualified in that manner. Make sure he has degrees in music and he studied psychology, because teaching is about understanding the human mind, not just the aspect and technique of it. So, you have to understand, we have to protect our kids, you have to protect yourself. And that goes for older women, you know, who may be in their 20s and think they can take care of themselves. You don't want somebody with who's very smart manipulating a woman or a child, whether that's an instructor who's a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. You want to make sure that you have safety, and that means policies with no contact outside of whatever business you like, just like a real job. And the problem with a lot of these places is they hire guys to play in bands and they're not really skilled in teaching. They're not teachers per se. They didn't go to school to learn how to teach and understand the human mind and how it learns. There's more than one road to that same path. And this is very important in the music industry. And I'm going to explain why. So we have Gibsonman on here. We got a Ron guy, but we also got Gibsonman and Zakk Roberts. Now Zakk posted a video, right? let me just go through. On his post, it says, it's possible he could be an emerging player. But based on available data, he hasn't made a mark in mainstream guitar circles like established names, Tommy Emmanuel, John Mayer. It did not say Tom Bukovac, Uncle T-Bag, number one. Right? Now, my content, because it's just talking mainly about my YouTube stuff, because that's online and it's data because I release it. You know, it's been every day lately. This is off Zakk's page. His content clearly targets serious guitar players, focusing on technique, equipment, and pro-level discussions. Small niche audience compared to major influencers. I'm not an influencer. I'm a no BS content news divulger, I guess you could say. So, and I know Zakk has his AI. So what am I getting at? He verified every single thing I said. I'm a highly technical player, which he criticized me months ago, saying that I'm not as good as Tom, which his own channel proves that I am, and I'm a highly technical, skilled player. And then I ask my AI, and what's my AI say? He's not typically teaching absolute basics, like how to hold a pick. Some beginners might find value. The content often assumes a baseline understanding of guitar techniques. It's geared for as you get older and you develop your guitar. Now, I have taught some beginner techniques. Individuals interested in real-world guitar experience. His content has a direct, no-nonsense approach, sometimes discussing the realities and frustrations of being a guitar player or dealing with gear. This appeals to those who appreciate authenticity and candid opinions. So my AI is validating Zakk's AI, two different AIs, about my skill level and what I teach, and I'm authentic, and it's a no BS approach. So I gotta thank Zakk that way, 100%. In essence, Jitboy's channel is a technical resource for guitarists who have already passed the absolute beginner stage, deeply invested in different genres, keen on understanding both playing techniques and intricacies of guitar equipment, because I'm very heavily experienced. Now, going back into the no data thing, this is how NDAs protect me from what I did. And I don't post videos on how you can find me and what I've done with a lot of celebrities, including somebody asked me, oh, did you record at Blackbird? Yeah, way before it was even considered Blackbird. Before Tom even was in that area. I recorded for 5 artists when it was called something else. Creative, I don't even know what it was called. I'd have to, let me see. Because I don't know the answer to this either. What was I just know Creative Zone. Blackbird Studios called. Originally built as Creative Workshop 2 and later operated as Creative Recording, the studio changed ownership and was rebuilt and renamed Blackbird Studio in 2002. 2002. Tom was maybe 10 years in Nashville and wasn't even in there until like maybe 5 years before that, 4 years before that, 6 years before that. So, let's see. Formerly Creative Recording. Let's see history. 1982, Creative Recording was built, now known as Blackbird. So the person that asked that, please understand and do your diligence and research before you come on here and spout. Again, this is a highly dedicated channel to everybody in the truth in guitar. I started recording for people in I recorded as a minor. My first album was with Scotty Brothers at 16, which I got dropped. Wonder why. Wasn't that good. Man, at 16, what was I? Probably 1980. 80. And probably going into high school is when I started recording for adults because of my level at that time. I took private instruction. I was in different music schools here locally. Again, I never paid for a lesson. My parents did. Play on words. I started playing at probably the age of 5. So like you'll never see that. There's nothing that ever says that online, even through my channel. This is the first time I think I've even said how old I was. I was maybe 5, 8 years old, somewhere around there. And coming out of middle school, coming out of elementary school. I took guitar lessons in elementary school. That's when I was first introduced to it, to take instruction. And it was a part of my school curriculum, acoustic guitar. And it was an after-school program. Now, with that said, you'll never see data on that. You'll never see data on me. I have non-disclosures with record labels to protect the artists that I work for, as well as protect me. So going back into the Zakk thing, what Zakk and them don't understand is you can try to contact the label, but you're not going to get anywhere. You can try to find that online resources. You ain't going to get it. The only stuff that's out is the stuff that I put out, like my YouTube channel. And Zakk, it didn't even mention my arrest record, did it? So there's information left out on your AI. It popped up on my AI. So there you go. But the thing about this is, what I'm trying to get at is, there's a lot of people in this world. They're called trolls, and that's basically what Zakk is. I don't go on his channel and post comments. He comes on my channel. That's called a troll. And trolls are welcome on my channel. And I'll lash back and stuff. But am I really angry or upset about it? Absolutely not. I don't care. But for others, and this is my warning for others who want to get into the social media, it's the same like politics. It's very political. So like if you're doing something somebody doesn't like, they want to knock you down. Just like in regular politics. It's the same shit. Again, I did a whole video on the industry talking about how people do not trust people in this industry. So do I trust anybody unless I talk to them or meet them? No. And even then I have to be cautious. I have friends that I've never told certain things to, still to this day. Now there's a small group of friends like my buddy Vincent and Pawnshop Mike and my buddy Tommy that you heard. And I'll do an interview with him because he was in a band called Heartless that almost was really big. And he was one of my biggest influences as well. I met him when I was probably 14, 15 years old. He was a couple years older than me, maybe 17. And I saw him playing at Mars Music, I think it was, or someplace. And he could play. And that's what I wanted to do. When I saw him play, I was like, holy shit. And we've been friends ever since. So I was probably 15, 14, 25, 35, 45, 55. I've known him for almost 50 years. If you have a friend, if you can make one good friend that's been your friend that long that you can trust, you're doing good in the world. Now, I'm going to probably go out on a limb and say that Zakk doesn't have a lot of friends, and Tom's friends are all fake friends because he's still in the industry and he plays the game and schmoozes, and that's just how it is. A lot of people don't understand that. You're rubbing elbows. You know, like, what the fuck is a red carpet event? You're rubbing elbows with other celebrities and you're networking. We call it networking. That's how it is. If you're in a business, you start handing out your card and you start networking to create a flow. You know, a Wikipedia page, a data kind of page. Now, could I actually post the Wikipedia or create a website so the AI can see that, gather the information, and I can write whatever I want? Absolutely. Everybody's done it, including Zakk, probably. And what do I mean? It's called a resume. How many of you guys have actually lied a little bit or a big bit on a resume to help get you that job? Because you know that the more you have, the better it would be, so you ad-lib a little bit. And you know that they don't have the resources. It'll just go into human resources. They'll look it over and they'll database you. And, oh yeah, no arrest record. That's all they're looking for, an arrest record. So if you don't have an arrest record, they don't really give a shit. But, you know, that's how it is. And this goes into those mom and pop shops and everybody. We should have a strict, stringent set of rules. Like, I don't think School of Rock should be in a bar. I don't give a shit what the event is. No kids in bars. You know, if it's like a Texas Roadhouse with grill, like dining and a bar, that's fine. But they shouldn't be in the bar section. Now, like hardcore bars where they have bands, absolutely not. You're creating the wrong image for kids. You're not helping them with achieving a goal by playing in a bar. Play outdoor festivals and events like that, but not local bars. There's only two things there's a couple things that happen in bars, and most of it's not good. It's drinking, drugs, and people looking to get laid. Now you'll have the fun, you'll have the group that's out there just to have fun and watch a football game, and then they're loud and they're cursing, God, you know, and that's not good for kids either. So you can't get rid of it, but you don't have to subject your kid to that every weekend, either. So, I think it was Ron. It was Creative Workshop. In 1982. When did I record there? I don't remember, but it was maybe 4 or 5 artists I did there, flying in and out. It's like the Ron. Do you know who Mitch Malloy is? He was one of the biggest Nashville guys around. He's a singer, writer, producer. Let's see. Mitch Malloy. He don't live there no more. Nashville. Writer, producer. Let's see who he did. He's a singer, songwriter, and producer, long career in the music industry, successful, and he sang for Great White. He's worked with artists, including Taylor Swift, Boys Like Girls, Lady Antebellum, Kenny Loggins, Shy Kroger, Craig Moore, and Sony Music New York. He mentors young artists and assists them with the projects. So he's probably doing management deals. So Mitch is well off as well. And me and Mitch talk here and there. Let's see. Are you married? Yeah. I didn't even know he was married. But anyway, there's some more industry stuff, and you know, these guys like Zakk and stuff, they think the gotcha videos, and I razzed them back last night. But do I really care? No, because their lack of intelligence in the industry is very great because they're not a part of it. They're just not a part of it. And like Gibsonman, who's Tom? Oh, I was just kidding, bro. You know, come on, Tom. You weren't kidding. You thought he got you because you were probably drinking some beer and went on Zakk's page, even though Zakk didn't say he was posting stuff, but you knew he was posting stuff because you were probably talking to him somehow, and you saw it. I don't think he said he posted anything, but the best part about this is my AI validates his AI. There's no data based on data given. And my skill level and channel are for serious-minded professionals with the no BS. So I want to thank both of you guys for helping expose that, because like Gibsonman said that I can't play as good as Tom, and so did Zakk at one time, and my page is based on high-level skilled professional stuff from intermediate up to that level. So there you go. You two just proved everything I've been talking about and validated it between your AI and my AI. Now, somebody said something, oh, you should have did the Gibson Les Paul different. So let's do that a little bit different. Gibson Les Paul 1959. How is it that people think that's a better made playing instrument than a modern day Les Paul by opinion, and there are no facts concluding this?
You've hit upon one of the most fervent and enduring debates in the guitar world. The idea that a 1959 Gibson Les Paul is a, quote, better made playing instrument than a modern day Les Paul is indeed largely an opinion, heavily influenced by a combination of factors that are difficult to quantify scientifically. While there are no hard facts that definitively prove every 1959 Les Paul is superior to every modern one, here's a breakdown of the prevalent beliefs and why they persist.
It's like a whole page
advantages of 1959 Les Paul.
What a 1959 is a collectible item because it was rare. And what made it rare? The fact that they couldn't fucking sell them. Nobody wanted them. They were like $400 back in the day. They couldn't sell them. What was the number one selling guitar by Les Paul? Gibson. The 335. Chuck Berry. That's what they were playing in the 50s. It was surf music and Bill Haley. All 335s. Nobody was playing a solid body Les Paul like that. And the biggest conception was that that was one of the biggest guitars in that time. No, it wasn't. Most people back then played Fenders. So there's a lot of misinformation that goes on in these videos and what people talk about. The quality of product in today. Watch. Let's do it again. Is the Gibson Les Paul today built and produced and manufactured better than in 1959 as far as components, parts, and technical aspect of how it's built?
This is a fantastic question that cuts to the heart of the vintage versus modern debate, moving beyond just opinion to look at tangible aspects of construction. From a purely technical and manufacturing standpoint, modern Gibson Les Pauls, particularly those from the custom shop, like the 59 reissues and Murphy Lab series, and even some higher-end production models, are arguably built with greater precision, consistency, and often with components that are objectively superior in terms of engineering and reliability compared to the original.
End of fucking discussion.
Here's why.
End of discussion. So let me show you guys something else. Because, you know, I hear this shit all the time. Let me see. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Is he in here? Oh, let me look back. So that was one of my guitars being built and worked on a long time ago. Who is that? Ron? That would be Tom Murphy. Why is Tom Murphy sending me pictures of a certain guitar? I don't know. See, again, there's a lot of misinformation on here and people with the I got yous. And they're called trolls. And they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. Because they're not at the level that I was at and know everything about these levels. You know, when you gotta get called, you know, I just watched the guy this morning about shredding, and he's got a pretty decent sized channel. So who does he call to step his views up? Robert Baker to help him shred. Now, is Robert Baker a good guitar player? I think so, and I'd rather watch him than some of the others. But if I wanted to learn how to shred, am I calling another YouTuber? Well, that's the only access he has, because he's not privy to call somebody like Robert Sarzo, or he don't have that kind of connection because he's not in the industry. Again, there's a lot of fraudulent shit that goes on in here, including doctoring resumes on Wikipedia and building websites, you know, and Uncle Teabag's got his own websites and built on his own companies or channels or whatever. But the fact is a fact. They're con jobs. Like it or not. Now, has Tom played with some famous people? Absolutely. Has he played with more famous people than me? No. Not even fucking close. I can make the phone calls and prove it. You just heard Robert Sarzo calling me. My buddy Tommy, who worked for School of Rock, his band was called Heartless. They were playing with bands like Rat and Quiet Riot back when I was a kid. Not a kid, but before I played with them. When they were all original and stuff. And he was a great mentor to me. How was it? Red Beach was in these local cover bands with Oni Logan, and we all played together, and I was good friends with Ray West from Spread Eagle, who was Defiance, who Oni's took his place, and then he ended up in Lynch Mob. We all know each other. Mitch Perry, another person I know. Oh, that would be an incredible video. Mitch Perry. Is he a super technical guitar player? No. We'll have to do a video on Mitch. He's very, 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 very underrated. Let me tell you who Mitch has played for, because he's played for a lot of people. Because, again, he's a little bit older than me. So let's see. Mitch Perry. He's played with Michael Schenker, Edgar Winter, Lita Ford, Asia, Steeler. He's another one that was born in New York that moved to Florida. Now he lives back in LA. Played with Bobby Blotzer's Rat, Cher, Talus. Ain't Talus Billy Sheehan's old band? Fuck. Let me see. Wonder if I get his number. Let me see. I'm gonna take a picture of the back of that. It's over there. So they're No, that would be great. I know this video is a little long, but it deals with the industry again. But it's also to help protect the children and knowing who, because even if you're registered and fingerprinted, you just may have not committed the crime yet to get where you were blocked from being a teacher. So always look out that there are strict, stringent policies, that these instructors have been with these companies a very long time. Ask and see if there's any complaints about these people. And you can even get their names and ask your local police station, hey, listen, my daughter wants to take lessons from this guy. Is there any way to verify he doesn't have a record with children? That would be a great idea. So there you go. Zakk, I hope you learned something from your mistakes. It's obviously you don't, but hey, that's not my problem. Peace out.